all, welcome to my channel again. So in this session we are going to discuss about launching your first Kubernetes cluster. Okay, and in this session we are going to discuss about what is a Minikube and the features of Minikube, how to install it on our local, and about the pod, what is a pod, benefits of using a pod, and the syntax for creating the pod, and also how to create a pod on Kubernetes through Minikube. All of these things we are going to discuss in this session, so please watch until the end. And if you want to check out this blog, you can check that from this link, which I will be keeping in the description box. Let's start now. So Minikube, what is a Minikube? It is considered a local Kubernetes which makes it easy to use all CAD's application on your VMs. So using the Minikube, we can use all CAD's applications on your VMs. So Minikube is a lightweight Kubernetes implementation that creates a VM on your local machine and deploy a simple cluster containing only one node. So it will be having only one node, and Minikube is available for Linux, Mac OS, and Windows system. The Minikube CLI provides basic bootstrapping operations for working with your cluster, including start, stop, status, and delete. So that's about the Minikube, and the features of Minikube is it supports the latest Kubernetes releases, and it is a cross-platform. So, like using Linux, macOS, Windows, we can use on any platform. Deploy as a VM, a container, or a bare metal, and multiple container runtimes, and direct API endpoint for blazing fast image load and build. Advanced features such as load balancer, file system mounts, feature gates, and network policy. Add-ons for easily installed Kubernetes application, supports common CI environment. So these are the features of the Minikube. What is exactly Minikube is? So it is considered as our local Kubernetes, which makes it easy to use all CAD's applications on your VM. So it is a lightweight Kubernetes, we can say, that creates a VM on your local machine, deploys a simple cluster, and will be having only one node. So that's about this. And the task is install Minikube on your local. For that, you can create an EC2 instance with a T2 medium configuration, as the minimum CPU required for Kubernetes to run is 2 servers. So using the T2 medium configuration, we can create an EC2 instance. Then log into the server and install the Docker using sudo apt install docker.io. Then Docker will get installed. After it got installed, then navigate to the Minikube installation page and select required settings for installing on a Linux machine. So we need to select the required settings, then copy the commands to install the Minikube on your server. So if you check out this blog, you can directly copy from here. It will be easy for you to access. So access and directly run on your system. Then once it is done, then Minikube is installed on your system successfully. So now we need to start the Minikube. In order to do that, we use this command minikube start -- driver equal to docker. We need to define the driver here as a docker. Since we are using the images, now install kubectl in your system and check the configuration. So kubectl, as I have already discussed in the previous session, that it is a CLI in order to start or stop the pods or do any kind of or do any execution of the commands, we use the kubectl. So in order to do that, we need to install the kubectl. For that, this is the command. Once it is successfully installed, then we can run the kubectl commands without any issues. Okay, now about the pod. What is a pod? Pod is the smallest deployable unit that you can create and manage in Kubernetes. So pod is a collection of one or more containers that share the same network, storage, configuration, and specification. Pod is similar to set of containers with shared namespaces and shared file system volumes. Pod also provide environmental dependencies including storage that is permanent and available to all pods in the cluster and configuration data needed to run the containers within the pod. So in simple words, create and manage this to create and manage these containers, we use the pods, and this is the smallest deployable units. Pod can have one or more containers and can share the same network, storage, configuration, and specifications. All pods can share everything, uh, which I have mentioned just now. So pod is similar to set of containers with shared namespaces and shared file system volumes. So that's about the pod. Benefits of using the pod is pod contains one or more containers, so it becomes easy to communicate and share data among them using their IP addresses. And the pod simplify scalability, enabling replica pods to be created and shut down automatically based on changes in demand. Okay, and this is the syntax for creating a pod. If you want to execute all of this, you can go and check out this blog and copy directly from here, so it will be easier for you to make a note of what is what. So here in the syntax, first is the API version. Let's say it is v1, and the kind we are creating this template for pod, so that's why we have declared here pod, and the metadata name of the pod. Metadata means the data of the pod, example name, so that will be the pod name, and what are all the container name and the image name we should specify, and the ports, container port with which container to be mapped, that we need to specify in order to create the pod. This is the syntax for creating a pod. Now just create the pod on Kubernetes through Minikube. So let's pull a Reddit clone image that we had already discussed, pushed as part of the project a few days back. So the image is there in Docker Hub repository. From there we pull that image, then write the pod.yaml file with proper syntax. The container here you can see this is just a syntax. We haven't mentioned anything like pod name, container name, image name, anything we haven't mentioned there. But here we have mentioned what is the pod name should be, what is the container name, and what is the image name from where it should take that image. So and the container put everything we need to mention. Then run this pod using this command kubectl apply -f and the YAML file name. Whatever the YAML file saved for this, that YAML name should get executed here. Once it is executed, then you can see the output as pod is created. So to check whether pod is running or not, kubectl get pods is the command. So using that command, we can check whether the pod is running or not. Okay, that's all for today. So if you want to check out this blog, you can check that from this link, which I will be keeping in the description box. Make sure you are practicing this, so that you will get better understanding if you practice And thanks for watching until then.